On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we do have a rundown of the big fishing show next Thursday and why you should attend. We'll have a rundown of last week's notable catches, and our correspondents do check in from around the island, all here at thefisherman.com.
The Fishing News is sponsored by these fine partners. The Tobay Boat Show is back October 6th through the 8th. Check out the latest in electronics and fishing gear. From fishing boats to personal watercraft, this show has it all. Free parking and fun for the whole family. For more info, visit nymta.com.
Today's Thursday, September 14, 2023, and I want to remind everybody that next week at the Huntington Hilton is the Fisherman's Big Surf Inshore and Offshore Seminar at the Huntington Hilton. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the first 500 anglers will receive a goodie bag worth more than the $20 entry fee alone. We will have a great lineup of speakers. Now let's check in with New Jersey, Delaware Managing Editor Jim Hutchinson to find out what his seminar will be about. Jim.
You know, the fishery managers are saying that we're at a 65-year high for the menhaden stock biomass, and that bodes well for another November to remember. Last season, Jersey Shore, epic striped bass fishing. You couldn't leave home without the small plastics and, of course, all kinds of great lures, the topwaters, the various pencils and the gliders and the poppers. We're going to cover that on Thursday in Long Island, Huntington Hilton. We're going to talk about a November to remember and chasing those bunker schools and the blitz fishing, whether it's Montauk all the way down the Jersey Shore.
Fisherman's Jenny Ackerman will be there as well. Jenny, tell us what your seminar is going to be on.
Thank you, Matt, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. What's up, Long Island? I'm Jenny, the media coordinator for the Fisherman magazine, and I am here to promote the Fisherman's show and seminars. I will be hosting my own seminar that night on pitching up current for fluke. This is an absolutely game-changing fluke fishing tactic. If you're tournament fishing, you're going for your trophy fish, you're just out having fun. It is an excellent way to advance your fluke fishing game. Now, I don't want to spill all my secrets now, so you have to come to my seminar. And if you do come to my seminar, you will get yourself a nice fast food fluke, the fluke sandwich sticker designed by yours truly. So I hope to see you there.
For your surf guys out there, New England editor Dave Anderson is coming down here. He's going to be there too. Tell us, Dave, what are you going to be talking about?
Thanks, Matt. I'm looking forward to getting out there on Thursday, and it's the first seminar I've done in a few years now, so I'm pretty psyched to get back on the stage and talk to you guys. My seminar is called Hiding in Plain Sight, and it's presentation based. It's all about how bait fish use non-movement as a form of camouflage and how to take advantage of that when you're plugging. It's something that I've been working on for 15 plus years, and man, it has really made a big difference in my surf success, and I think it can make a big difference in yours as well. So come and check it out, and I look forward to seeing all you guys there.
And don't miss my fishing roundtable featuring 3 of the island's best casters talking about tactics and gear with a Q&A at the end. And we also have many more guests, including just added to the lineup, surf and inshore specialist John Skinner will be there. John will be conducting a seminar on jigging off the boat for fluke, which fits in perfect with a few weeks to spare in the fluke season. Crazy Alberto coming up from Florida will be talking big striper windows, how to pinpoint them with the best results. Bill Wetzel is going to be covering fall Montauk surf casting just in time for the Montauk Classic tournament at the end of the month. Captain John Padawana will give us his rundown on the highly effective snap jigging technique that has been all the talk recently. And Chris Parisi will hone in on jigging for blackfish, one of my favorite techniques also. Also, keep in mind, those who do attend his seminar will get some free tog jigs. Then the big raffle on the main floor will be at 9 p.m. with even more great giveaways. This week's giveaway will be one for a free admission to the show and a goodie bag. All you have to do is subscribe to our podcast and listen to this week's weekly video fishing forecast on the podcast. and email me at mbroderick@thefisherman.com with the secret Audible code embedded in the podcast, and we will get you into that show. The first person to email me that code wins the admission.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
In this week's digital edition, check out Jerry Audette. He has an article on using a conventional reel in the surf. Captain Scott Newhall has a great read on spots, one of the hottest baits to use in the Northeast. And Kyle Quinn has a catfish article for you sweetwater anglers out there. All this and more in the current digital edition of the Fisherman Magazine. All this is a good reason to be a subscriber to the Fisherman Magazine. You are automatically entered into our Dreamboat contest and your chance to win a center console from Steigercraft, powered by Yamaha. $30 gets you 12 glossy print issues and all digital issues sent to your inbox. Now, let's check in with the leaderboard for the Dreamboat Challenge.
No new entries this week in the Dreamboat contest, so our top 3 remain unchanged. Bobby Cifarelli still holds first place with 24 points. Eddie Terrabil remains in second place with 18 points. And Kyle Kraus maintains his third place position with 16 points. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman subscriber-only multi-species fishing competition with a chance to win a new 21-foot Steigercraft center console powered by a Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Visit thefisherman.com to subscribe and get all the details so you can be part of the action.
Now let's get to the upcoming events. This Saturday is the 16th is the Women's Fishing Expo that will be held at Connecticut River State Park Preserve. As I mentioned earlier, next Thursday night, September 21st, is the Fisherman Fishing Show and Seminar at the Long Island Hilton in Melville. And then September 29th through October 1st is the Fred Galafaro Memorial Montauk Classic in Montauk. Sign-ups will be done at the event on the 21st also. October 6th to the 8th is the Tobay Boat Show. For more details on these events, visit thefisherman.com/events. Let's take a look at some notable catches from around the island last week. This 70-pound yellowfin tuna was caught by 9-year-old Garrett Watkins and his father on the Where's the Fish 2. The fish was caught on a Sandell Chatter Lure Splash Bar 50 miles out of Fire Island Inlet. Nicole Gaines sent me this picture of a mahi. She caught off the rocks at Shinnecock Inlet. Yeah, that's right, off the rocks. It's the first one, to my knowledge, that I heard of being caught off the shore, in this area especially. Mike Larson checked in with this 12-pound false albacore he caught last week while fishing aboard the Montauk-based Sea Bear. For those that didn't know, Montauk did get a big push of the little toonie last week, and they've been all over the point in the recent days. Rich Von Ohlen reports a lot of bait, peanut bunkers, spearing, shoaling up in the back bay, some Point Lookout to Atlantic Beach, scattered blues, and possibly a few spotty bass now and then. Still plenty of fluke in Reynolds Channel with some decent keepers mixed in. Tons of small sea bass, snappers, porgies, with a few blowfish and spot along the docks and jetties. Water temps are up to 75 to 80 this past week with that heat wave. How are we looking for the weekend, Rich?
Hey, thanks, Matt. Let's check that weekend forecast and see what we got going on. You can always check your favorite apps, weather sites, weather tools, whatever you got. This is a general heads up, general overview on the upcoming weekend. Quick fishing report from me, southwest corner, Nassau County, Reynolds Channel. A lot of bait, still peanut bunker spearing all over the place. Some fluke are still there if you want to work for them. Kind of moving out now, and we got some bass and bluefish scattered. Just watch for the birds there. Nothing crazy, but there's still some life in the bay. All right, water temps came up. I was marking about 80-degree water back in the back bays. We had some mid to upper 70s in the ocean, so with all that heat we had during the past week, that pushed the water temps back up, kind of going in the wrong direction. But looks like things will start to cool down. We've got Hurricane Lee in the Gulf of Maine. Notice our wave height forecast there, and you can kind of see some yellow and some brighter stuff Saturday throughout midday and afternoon, but see how it moves away. It turns blue on Sunday. Sunday is going to be your pick of the weekend as things kind of settle down a little bit. As Hurricane Lee kind of moves away, Gulf of Maine, eastern New England, it's going to be close, but we're on the western side. So a big northwest breeze is going to be blowing about 15, 25 gusts to 30 on Saturday from the northwest. And notice how the winds kind of drop a bit to the west, maybe about 5 to 15 on Sunday. So we should see things getting a little bit better. Saturday on the maps, there's the big swirl. That's the hurricane, Lee in the Gulf of Maine, again away from us. That's good. We're on the western side. Sunday looks a lot calmer. So bottom line, Sunday is going to be your pick of the weekend to do some more comfortable fishing in the ocean. The bays looks pretty good. Be careful on the surf, though. Some of those waves will still be up there. Temps look good, both Saturday, Sunday, 70 near 80, not too hot again. Looks pretty good. And the Guru confirming the hard northwest, 15, 25 all day Saturday throughout the evening. And then settling down a little west-northwest on Sunday, about 5 to 15. So again, Sunday, pick of the weekend. You want to go in the ocean, do some stuff there. Just be safe no matter what you're doing. Catch them up and have a great weekend. Matt, back to you.
Now we're checking with Captain Timothy O'Rourke from Montauk. Tim.
Thank you, Matt. Well, greetings everybody from Montauk. Pretty much another amazing week out here. Big news still is the tuna fishing. Still incredibly hot, incredibly close. Dan on the Double D, he was wrestling I think it was like a 200-pound bluefin today. They were actually sea bass and cod fishing, and they had a bluefin bite. So they fought that thing. They drove around. There's some video on his Instagram page of them running it down, and they managed to get to the boat. The Viking Starship did a mixed tuna and tile trip. They had over 30 yellowfins on the way out trolling and on the way back in. And they were trolling them up in between drops for tilefish, and they did very well on the tilefish as well. Fluke and sea bass is still going strong. Guys are catching nice fluke on the beach. Like the mahi, I was catching mahi actually right in front of Gurney's the other day, which was a big surprise. There's been a couple other reports up island of people catching mahi off the beach. So that's a good one. Striped bass still going strong. The ebb tide was doing a night bass trip. They had a bunch of fish over 30 pounds, and everybody had bent rods. I think everybody averaged like a 6 fish average. So that's still going really strong. Other than that, we got this hurricane that's going to come through this weekend, so it's not really fishable this weekend. The big thing is it going to change anything dramatically, or is things going to stay kind of the same? So that will be seen next week. All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Do something around the house to keep yourself occupied since you can't go fishing. All right, thank you, Matt.
From Sag Harbor, we have Will and Andy.
Thanks, Matt. Report this week out of Sag Harbor. Fall run starting to hopefully kick off kind of any day now. We have had some early reports of Albies making their way by Montauk. Water's getting even warmer by the minute, so we have had mahi by the pots close to shore. Fluking's been a lot of shorts, a lot of action, obviously some nice keepers, same thing on the sea bass front, but I think it's only going to get better and better hopefully, so looking forward to a great fall ahead.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Had some action around Shinnecock and Moriches over the weekend. The Albies finally showed. They're really not that late, but it always seems like it takes too long for them to show up. I saw them Sunday in Shinnecock East. A few other people have found them there. Since then, saw a pod jump a bit off Tiana Beach, way out of casting range, but saw that when I was just kind of driving around scouting the beach. And friends of mine that were out Saturday chasing birds got a few Albies, number of bonito, Spanish Mac, and all the cocktail blues you wanted. When I was out on Monday with my buddy, we chased some birds. Thought we were really into something. It was cocktail blues. Fun to bend a rod, but obviously not what we were looking for. Ended up going back in the bay and on bucktails and fish bite. Got a weak fish, so that was a fun catch. And I went down to the inlet
this afternoon just to kind of like take a look, and you can see that the swell is already building. So there's kind of water coming over the rocks where, you know, typically you wouldn't see on the west side. So if you're going to fish this weekend, just really be careful. You know, corkers, wader belt, total necessity, escape knife. If you can get around, you know, using your waders on the jetties, try to do that. Just want everyone to end up on the other side of this season with some great fishing that we can all talk about. And talking about everyone telling fishing stories, on next Thursday, Huntington Hilton, the Fisherman Show is going to be a good one. A lot of great vendors, speakers, you know, quite a few discussions. I know there's like a surfcasters roundtable, so always a lot of fun just to, you know, to kind of see everyone that sometimes you only know from social media, and get to say hi in real life, and, you know, people that you've met and known for a number of years. So looking forward to that. Goodie bags, the whole raffles, the whole 9 yards. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Let us know how you do this weekend. If you get out there at all, be safe. And back to you, Matt.
From Northport, we have the Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle report.
Hey, taking a break here from one of the multiple rods we build in this custom shop and repairs. We stay pretty busy. Thanks for your support. And we're always getting them out in a timely manner. We build all types of blanks, all types of rods. So if you have any questions, always call the shop, whether it's guides, seats, handles, recustomizing on an existing rod, adding decals. We do it all right here in the shop. It's always done really affordably, so it's probably a big reason why we stay like extremely busy on top of all the real repair and service we do. Now the report, I'm telling you, this is fantastic news. I'm always giving out good news. There's no really doldrums up on the North Shore. It's been rocking season. I mean, nonstop. Right now, we've still got warm waters. We've got this hurricane coming, so I would take great care if you're planning on going on the South Shore and working some of these heaps. It's a great way to get swept out. Watch out for your waders. If you're wetsuit, I would highly recommend a wetsuit because at least you're buoyant. North Shore. In our harbor, I mentioned that we had cobia. They stuck around for a week. It was actually crazy to see them, but really hard. I'm not an experienced cobia fisherman, so it was almost impossible to catch them, but we're watching them just destroy peanut bunker. On top of that, I didn't mention it last week, but we've had a huge school of, they look like cow nose rays, and they've been, I guess, spawning or something in some of the shallow waters. You get reports like, oh my goodness, there's a school of sharks in the harbor, but it's these cow nose rays that they've got their fins up. It's pretty amazing to see. Dolphins off of Crab Meadow Beach. Jig bite is still crazy with bass and bluefish out in the triangle, stick by 11B, 28C. And something absolutely new to me was like, wow, the Spanish mackerel, you just don't see that up here. Throw that on top of the sheep's head and black drum they're catching on the South Shore, and temperatures are really pushing. Maybe it's from these multiple storms. They're bringing up species I've never seen before in our area. Pods of dolphin, like I mentioned. And the weak fish bite is just like last year. The timing is right on late August into September. They're deep, and I think they're putting on the feed bag because they're getting ready to migrate. So there's nothing but great things. Let's see what happens with this storm. If the heave is different, I know they're going to have extreme tides. I'm not really sure what to expect, but safety is a big concern. If you're planning on racing out east and get involved, you can get yourself in trouble. So you want to be safe. I would definitely recommend being out there with a buddy. If you've got your boat here in the North Shore, if you're in Huntington, Northport, out in the bay, you really want to make sure you got your lines tight and check those mooring balls and everything like that, because this north wind's going to come in. Who knows what to say is going to happen. Higher tides, it can shift the moorings, and you might find your boat in the back of the harbor. Every big storm, we always find a few boats up in the back marshes, so that's something to keep your eye on. If you have any questions, reach out to your local mooring tender and ask them. They will be glad to help you out. And again, if you have any questions, come on down. Our hail site shop is now operating 4 hours. That means we're open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's in the Huntington Bay, which is the hail site shop. Here in Northport, we're open 7 days a week. The service goes nonstop, and we're right through the winter. So you always have a place to bring your equipment to get taken care of, checked out, or tuned up. We do a whole lot of that, and thank you all for supporting our shop. Family business, work really hard, personal service, and always customer loyalty points, so you save money when you come to Cal Harbor instead of going to the big box stores or other places.
So I hope to see you at the store. As always, I bid you peace and tight lines.
From the Fire Island area in Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Matt, Fire Island report. Looks like things kind of picked up. The water cleaned up this past week from what it was. Definitely fish can see the bait now, where last week it was kind of tough. Bluefish, I had bluefish up to 15 pounds. They dominate the catch. Had a weak fish, first one of the fall, 3 to 4 pounds. And a couple of the party boats early in the week had a great catch. I know on the jib they had something like 35 keepers on a 4-hour trip. So it looks like that's starting to happen. The fluke's starting to bunch up by the inlet. So I think with the cool weather coming over the weekend and a front coming through, I think next week and on we're going to see some really excellent fishing, Matt. So I'll keep you posted. We'll talk to you next week.
With our fly and freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Well, hello, Matt. Here it is. It's Monday. Another freaking hot day. I tell you, it's been brutal. And then, of course, there were the showers. So it's. I was actually trying to get out of the boat today, but with a chance of showers, of course, as you can see, it's nice and sunny. But if you look at all the crowds over there, it's going to rain sooner or later. But I figured I'll get out here, try for some fluke, some snapper blues, try around. A little bit mosquito-y today. Try to get out. My wife and I did on Sunday, did get out in between the rain and did a little snapper fishing. And we had a ball. We really did. I tie up my own rigs for snappers. I use a popper, a snapper popper, but I tie little flies, and they outfished everything else. So it was pretty cool. We had a good time. As far as freshwater go, it is still hot. Fish early in the morning, unless you really want to go for some bluegills or some bass. Morning and evening are the best. But right now, we need this heat wave to break. So until next week, tie lines, everybody.
Let's check in with Chris Landry.
Thanks, Matt. What an incredible couple weeks of fishing it's been. There's still a red hot yellowfin tuna bite offshore. Midshore, there's a good bluefin bite. I can't tell you exactly where, but it's not the world's biggest secret. It is a squid bite mainly, so if you can find the squid, you're more likely to find the bluefin. And if not, you can get a big southern species as a consolation prize. Vinny Ferreira got a humongous wahoo out there fishing with live mackerel. Also there's makos and threshers. Timmy and Pat on Margarita caught a big thresher shark. There's stripers coming in from the east I hear, so the fall run is about to start. In the meantime, we've also been getting a lot of mahi. I went out with Ryan Laurie and we got on some big mahi. Most of the mahi are small chicken mahi, 14 to 18 inch range, but we did manage to pull up some big ones as well. So that's always fun to get one of the most beautiful fish on the planet while these southern species are in our water. We were measuring water temperatures of around 78 degrees. I think this storm is really going to mess up the bite, so we'll have to see afterwards if the mahi are still here, if the tuna bite is still hot, so I hope so. Until then, stay safe out there, stay tight, thank you, and back to you, Matt.
Let's check in with Max Finch from the Connecticut side of the Western Sound.
This past week, we've seen Albies really invade the Western Sound. This should only get better. Hopefully this offshore hurricane really starts help funnel the Albies, into the Sound. We got good reports off of New Haven out in the Mid-Sound, Middle Ground to Port Jeff. There's been some pop-up schools around the islands. So only look for this to get better. Stuff like hoagie jigs, epoxy jigs, Albie snacks, small sluggos, small rapalas, all work well. The bass fishing starting to heat up too with all the small bait around. They're really starting to put the feed back on to, prep for the migration. I would say a lot of the actions around the islands and back up in the back bays and estuaries and the tidal rivers. And there's also been a lot of that 3 to 5 pound bluefish around. The porgy bite still remains good on our shallow and deep water reefs. So always remember to bring clam chum. Hot spots are like Kakini Reef, the wrecks outside Kakini, outside Middle Passage, Green's Ledge, 28C, 11B, and the Celtic wreck. Black sea bass can be found still in our deeper water wrecks and our deeper water reefs. Still take stuff like jigs, diamond jigs, butterfly jigs, slow pitch, and then traditional high-low rigs with bait, spro, bucktails tipped with gulp or squid. The fluke fishing, this time of year gets tricky because they can be found shallow inshore in the mouths of harbors, rivers, and then still out in the deep water. Out in our deep water, we still got a lot of bay anchovies and stuff like that. That's what the Albies are feeding on. And then up in tight, still bay anchovies, peanut bunker, spearing. So I would definitely bounce around, but can 26, 24, the OB buoy in the mouth of our harbor. Thanks and good luck.
Remember to like our videos, subscribe to YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we do post a new video on YouTube. Check out this video's description on YouTube for all the related links and index for specific reports. And please do support our correspondents by visiting their websites and their social media pages. Don't forget this video is available as a podcast on iTunes and Google Podcasts. Search for the Fisherman Magazine podcast and subscribe so you can listen to this broadcast and other content. If you would like to be a part of our weekly video fishing forecast, we are looking for social media savvy anglers for hyper-local reporting from the New York Metro and Long Island area, and especially from the beach. So if you're a captain, tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact my producer at tcslabayrat@gmail.com. If you'll be fishing near any of the South Shore inlets, use caution. Hurricane Lee will be pushing some swells toward our South Shore. Right now, it looks like a tough weekend to fish the boat with this wind in the forecast, but keep in mind this push could spark some good surf fishing around any of the major inlets along the South Shore and the end of the island in Montauk. Be safe out there. We'll see you at the event or the Fisherman's Weekly Video Fishing Forecast next week.